Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Hines on Air, your weekly dose of inspiration, motivation, and real-life entrepreneurial stories. I'm Matt Hines, your host, and I'm excited to have you join me on this journey. From building a successful law firm to venturing into other industries like real estate and social media, I've experienced both the triumphs and the challenges that come with entrepreneurship. I've learned firsthand the importance of resilience, adaptability, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. On Hines on Air, we're diving deep into the world of business, law, and personal growth. Join me as I chat with incredible guests who have faced adversity, defied expectations, and achieved extraordinary success. We'll discuss their strategies, their mindset, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply someone looking for a little inspiration, Hines on Air is for you. Remember to subscribe, like, and leave a review whenever you listen to podcasts. Your support helps us reach more people and continue sharing these incredible stories. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, this is Matt Hines. We are back with another Hines on Air, and we have a fantastic guest that we're going to be talking to today. And honestly, it's hard to know where to start when you introduce this gentleman. He is the author of 4 books. He has started a nonprofit that started in a little side annex of its church. He grew that into a $100 million nonprofit organization. He's also managing Mount Zion Baptist Church, has 7,000 members. He's been the advisor of top congressmen, including Paul Ryan, Elijah Cummings, and others. He's been advising the government on welfare reform, on COVID response. He's done so many things in his life that it's hard to just pick a few, but we are honored to welcome Mr. Reverend Odell Cleveland. Mr. Cleveland, welcome to the program.
Yes, Matt, please just say Odell from the dirt roads of Charleston, South Carolina.
You know, that's that southern big boy coming at me, but yeah, I can go with Odell. So how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Honored to be on your show. I love, I was able to catch a couple episodes. I love what you're doing. I love your authenticity and the fact that you share that, things don't always go right the first time, but that grit and stick to itness makes all the difference in the world, sir.
That is correct. Can you, well, starting off, I heard a rumor. I heard that you are doing great in your health and that you just lost 100 pounds. Is that correct?
Not quite 100 pounds, but the rumor is true.
Yeah.
I have decided that I want to live, Matt, and I lost about 60 some odd pounds. And one time I used to be a very good athlete. Then life happened, and incrementally over 30, 40 years, I picked up about 70, 80 pounds. So yes, we're doing so much better now and feel good about, we got another chance on life. That makes sense.
That absolutely makes sense. What did you do specifically? You mind sharing with us? What kind of program?
No. I just made up my mind that, hey, we're going to eat better. We're going to take care of ourselves. So we're going to get up every morning and do close to 4.5 miles walking and just be more disciplined. And it's just a mental thing, not trying to be funny. I know it's not that easy, but it was easy for me because I got to the point where I wasn't liking me. When I took my shirt off, Matt, I didn't see sexy anymore. I didn't see sexy when I took my shirt off, man. I didn't see sexy, and I wanted to see sexy again.
Well, I had that moment of clarity hit me. Last year we were on a cruise, and I was ready, all these beautiful people standing around, and I took off my shirt, and I was like, no, I'm on the wrong ship right now. So I know what you mean. Well, good for you. Congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. And now we do this thing, having fun, getting healthy. And recently we went through a prostate scare. So now we're talking more about men's health and prostate and all that kind of good stuff, which is somewhat awkward, but people are starting to catch on. So yes, we're just trying to make it better, in particularly for men of African American descent. Going to get a prostate exam is not the thing that everybody raised their hand to do, but we understand that that'll make a difference in so many people's lives.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, you're correct. Absolutely. I just did a blood screening where they take samples of your blood and see what you're deficient in. And it was one of the best things I've ever done. It is simple things. A lot of medical routes will lead you to maybe a surgery or a this or something crazy where, it might just be deficient in vitamin D, or you need more magnesium, or you need more like this. It's been good.
Well, Matt, when you think about it, you are a father, I'm a father. When you
Yeah.
think about men and you think about the people who are relying on us and the people who love us and our children and possibly our grandchildren, it behooves us to say, you know what? Listen, I have to go and, take better care of myself. Or if I don't do that, let me at least increase my life insurance policy so that the wives
Sure.
will have what they need to keep going. Either one, but it's better if you around, in my opinion.
No, I feel you. How old are your children?
I have one who's 35 and one who's 33. So I have two children and two grandchildren.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. No, what you said is exactly right. My wife and I have had this discussion. I've got a 12-year-old and a 2-year-old. So I
Are you,
started
are you
over.
finished? Are you finished yet, or what? Are you
And,
still are you still being fruitful and multiplying?
no, sir, I am done. We did it. I didn't think I would go for two. I did though. He's beautiful. He's wonderful. But yeah, it's we're done doing that.
Okay, we're done. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
done.
right. That's right. That's right. Well, cool, my friend. Well, listen, there's again, I mentioned this in the intro. There's so much to talk about. For the first thing, one thing that caught my eye, I think your most recent book, The Fighting Marine, the Jamel Herring story.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little synopsis about, what makes him fascinating?
Yeah, I met Jamel. Jamel is an Olympian. I met him and he was sharing, he wanted to get his story told. And I really didn't want to write the book because at the end of the day, I just didn't want to talk about people for the sake of talking about folks. But once I heard his story coming out of foster care, mom getting put in jail for drugs and them taking him away from his parents, and his story on how he fought his way through. And the thing that really made me say yes is that he's a Marine and he takes so much pride in serving his country. 2 tours in Iraq, proud American, and that's what got my attention because I just believe that as Americans, even in spite of our differences, this is the best country on the face of the earth at this time. And
Sure.
that's what got me into saying, yes, I'll do the book for you and with you. And it made all the difference in the world. And just to hear about what guys and women who have sacrificed for to serve our country so we could have our freedom to agree to disagree.
That's right. When you say you agreed to do the book, how did it start? Did he come to you, or you
No,
heard of his story?
yeah, his manager. I'm very much intertwined with boxing, the boxing world,
Okay.
and I know a lot of these guys from Crawford to, a lot of the pro boxers, for lack of a better term, through a young man who I mentored who's negotiating a lot of their contracts. So in that world, it's not Sunday school class. Let me just say that. And to find someone who you trust, who could tell the story the way you want it told, makes a difference. And for me, I'm much like you. I get to select who I want to partner with these days. So I just decide who I want to work with and who I didn't. So that's how I was offered the opportunity to write the book. I said no. Then I went and listened to him and then said, okay, I'll do it.
So he was like a public speaker, or when you say
No,
listen to him, like just had a conversation?
no, just have a conversation with him, just man to man. Is like, okay, why do you want to do this?
Uh-huh.
That's all. And then found out so much more about him. And the thing that really triggered me was his commitment to America, his commitment to this country, that he was willing to lay his life down for the country. And that's what got.
I got you. I'm just curious. All right, so he went to foster care. How long was he there?
He was there for about 4 or 5 years. His mother had to go through all the court systems on rehabilitation and everything else so that she could get him back out, him and his brother, and she did it. So, I had opportunity to talk to his mother and talk to other family members, and she did it. And, she made a mistake, of course, and she was able to rectify that situation and get her children back. And never again did they have any more issues.
Wow, good for her.
Yep.
That's amazing in and of itself, right there.
And, he decided to go into the Marines once 9/11 occurred. When 9/11 occurred, I think he was in high school, the way I understand the story. And he went on and enrolled in the Marines, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah, that is inspirational. Very inspirational. Okay, well, good. Well, I'm going to check it out. I'd encourage everybody else. This is Jamel Herring's story. Jamelherring. It sounds like a fascinating story.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
very powerful yet humbling experience. And it also lets you understand how important it is to have our freedom.
All right. All right. All right. So, let me again, I apologize. I'm going to kind of jump around here because, again, I
No
saw
problem.
I had two bios, and in each one, I'm like, wow, where do we start talking? And I know you've advised some congressmen and created think tanks and all around the issue of welfare reform.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you
Well,
give me your viewpoint on that?
Yes. Just a little background there. Odell
Yeah.
Cleveland is a diehard Democrat, and
Okay.
I would endorse Republicans. And one of the Republicans I endorse is named Congressman Walker. Congressman Walker is a good guy. The reason why I endorsed him is because he was the best man for the job at the time. And I got invited to the White House and, asked my advice on this whole safety net things. And I'm one who believed that a hand up, not a hand out. And that was a big deal, not knowing that was a big deal for a lot of people because being a conservative Democrat, coming into a situation and talking to a very conservative Congress and sitting in those think tank meetings and sharing my experiences with them was eye-opening for them, but also eye-opening for me because a lot of times we have our own bias, prejudice, and stereotypes about others, but it's not the case at all. And that's how we come to find common ground. And that's why things worked so well. And I kept getting invited back and I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, we didn't agree on everything. So that's how it all started. And it's just one of those situations when people believe you, they don't have to agree with you, but when they believe you, that makes a big difference.
Can you break it down? Hand out, not or hand up, not a handout.
Well,
How
case
does
in
that
point.
apply?
Well, I use it like this. America has the greatest safety net there is. I mean, we have a system in place where if you try to help yourself and you fall short, we have all these benefits, we have all these entitlements, we have all these things. But if you're not careful, some people will take the safety net and use it as a hammock. And
Yeah.
then they will build generations and generations on that hammock. And then you become entangled. You become entrapped. You become ensnared. So you can't move and your family can't move. And now you're stuck on these systems. You're
Yeah.
dependent on welfare. You're dependent on WIC. You're dependent on public housing. You're dependent on all these things. And if I ask you the question, Matt, who pays for it? You say the government. Well, who's the government? I'm the government. I'm paying taxes. I'm the government. And if you understand how it works, then it's not a freebie. There's no free lunch. And listen, I was born in public housing, meaning that when my mother and father, I was birthed, I went from the taxi, from the hospital in Greenville, South Carolina to public housing. That's so I understand it. But my mother told us, hey, listen, you could be anything you want to be if you do three things. Trust in God, get the best education that you can, and never look down on people. So I understand the system, but it irks me when folks just want to benefit from the system. And that's why I said I believe in giving people a hand up, not a hand out. Because if you can teach somebody how to take care of themselves and take care of their families, that's the American dream. No one's going to give you, Matt, the American dream. I will give you an opportunity to pursue it, but I will never give it to you because it's not mine to give.
All right. Well, I agree with what you're saying. So when we put that into application, let's say a mama, single mother's got 2 kids. She's getting, I don't know how it's computed. Let's say $2,000 a month. What do? Do we give it to her till she gets a high school degree, a required degree within a certain amount of time, or help her find a job and wean off the government subsidies? Like, how would you put that into practice?
This is what I would do. My years of experience, and I did it for about 15, 16, 17 years. And what I found is that if you reach a certain threshold, the poverty guidelines, if you are a dollar over, they take the whole thing away from you. I would say we do what I call stair-step approach. When Odell gets to a certain point, then I lose a little bit of benefits. And then over 3 or 4 years, that's how you get me off. You wean me off
Yep.
a system because this is just like someone who's I don't want to say addicted because that's not fair, and I don't want to be stereotypical, but that's the best example I can. Let's just say
Yeah.
someone who's a smoker, and now all of a sudden they don't quit cold turkey. Our systems are not designed to get people off as much as they're designed to get people on and to stay on. And
Right.
Odell's humble opinion.
Yeah, no, and I agree with Odell's humble opinion. I think because you couldn't just shut it all down at first. You'd have anarchy in the streets. But I think a gradual system would be a way to go, and we supplement that with some teaching, job, something in that make them more able and not dependent on
Right. Mandatory training. Mandatory.
Right.
Mandatory. And I think that's the part of it, because one of the things that I really like was the 1996 Welfare Reform Act, where that act said, okay, you can get benefits, but you have to do these things. Boom, 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 boom. And that makes all the difference in the world, in my opinion.
That makes a lot of sense. Are they not doing that now?
They were doing it at one time. I think they backed off of the mandatory restrictions.
So now there are no restrictions.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't say there's no restrictions. I would say that since I'm not in that field anymore and I came back over to the church, I'm not up to date with everything as I once was. So I don't want to say it's not any, but what I want to say, I know at one time it was very strict around 1996, 1997, 1998. We had benchmarks. We had people being accountable and everything else. So I don't know how it is now, but, you know, I don't think it's as strict as it once was. I could say that comfortably.
Yeah, I got you. Do you think, Odell, it's got the sinister motive that some put out, like that it is an effort to sort of keep a population under control, either voting or acting or doing something in a certain way? Because when they're completely dependent on, you know, a government or some other entity to take care of them, then they're theoretically going to behave in a certain way. Do you think it's by design, or do you think it's by accident that something well-intentioned kind of got a little bit out of control?
I don't know, but this is what I do believe. I believe that it's a little bit of truth in every lie. So if Odell had a political magical wand, Odell would tell the black community, and I'm black. The last time I checked, I was black this morning, Matt, so I'm still black and good looking. Let's not get that mixed up. I would say that I would take 50% of Democrats, of black folk, I would want them to be Democrats. I would take 35% of black people and say you are independent. And I would take the other 15% and say you're Republicans. That way, the 15 and the 35 would equal the same 50 as the 50 Democrats. And that way, the black vote, that I believe that the Democrats take it for granted. I believe the Democrats take the black vote for granted. I believe the Republicans ignore the black vote. So the black vote is caught between a political rock and a hard place. Now, to your point of saying, if I give subsidies to a certain community, and by the way, as you know, other than black people get welfare and get all these subsidies, I get that, and you understand that too, because you're a very intelligent man. There's a situation where now all of a sudden you have to earn the black vote. So that's why my theory was I'm going to endorse this white evangelical Republican, and people flipped their wigs when I did that. They flipped their wigs from everything. Hey, Odell, get your boy back. He got to get in line and everything else. And I'm like, I dare you tell me who I can and cannot vote for. I dare you to tell me who I can and cannot endorse and everything else. So it was my theory, the way I think it should be. So being an American, I have the right to make my own decision. And people didn't like that. A lot of people didn't like it.
Well, good for you for doing what you believe in. I know that's not easy. We see.
No, but hey, I don't live in Georgia, though. You all got it tough down there, boy. Y'all got a lot of stuff going on in Georgia.
That's craziness in Georgia. That's right. That's right. That's right. So you're in North Carolina right now, correct?
I'm currently in North Carolina, yes.
Okay, I gotcha. And let me go back for a minute. You said back when you were supporting this congressman and you were more involved, is that when that change went in regarding the way welfare is administered?
No, that was a little bit after. That was about 5 or 6 years after that. I got involved with him because of the fact that he came and asked me for my vote. The other individual that was running against him in the 6th district of the state of North Carolina, she never ever even came and talked to me, talked to anyone. Not that you have to kiss my ring. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
my God, if you want something from me, don't take me for granted. And if you do, I can show you that we could fix that. And many believe, and the newspaper and the TV and everybody that reported believes that my endorsement made the difference in that young man winning his congressional seat. And we're still friends now. We don't agree on everything, but we're still friends. Interestingly enough, we had a TV show on Fox 8, a local Fox station here called Swing State. I was the Democrat, he was the Republican, and we would bring people in from different parts of the country and talk about it. And I would say to him, and it was a running joke until it ended up in a opposition research political ad against him. I would say, no Biden, no Trump for 2024. And that was back in 21, late 21, early 2022. He would tell me about the big red wave in 2022 that never happened. And I argued with him as a Democrat to say, listen, one of the things that Republicans have an issue with is this whole abortion thing. You know, you have to deal with that. Now, I know the economy and inflation, you can deal with all that, but that abortion thing is going to be tricky for you. And we would laugh about it and talk about it. But at the same time, you know, it was okay to talk about tough issues, even though we didn't agree. But at the same time, we put it out there. And I think, you know, that's part of it, though. I think we can talk about what we disagree on without being disagreeable, because at the end of the day, let me say it like this. We have some people around the world who would love to destroy us. On 9/11, they attacked us. And as Americans, we showed them that you cannot defeat us. In my opinion, on January 6th, we showed those same people that we can defeat ourselves if we fight ourselves. And that's my thoughts on it.
Do you have those same thoughts when you see the Department of Justice filing, or more than likely being behind the filing of all the indictments against Trump? Because to me, whether he committed them or not, well, it's not like that. But when I see a government acting like that, to me, it shows some type of weakness to the world. Like, what the hell is going on in America right now?
Yes, I do believe that in some cases, not all cases, of mobilizing the federal government against former President Trump. However, I think that former President Trump was in the game. What I mean by that, I don't think that he's a Sunday school teacher who never did anything wrong. And I think that when you're in the game, and the game is politics, which is a contact sports, then things happen. But he's been getting as much as he's been giving. I think his connections with some of the judges around the country, even up to the Supreme Court justices, that a lot of time he gets a thumb on the scale. That's my opinion. So it's going back and forth both ways, in my opinion. So that's why I said, hey, no Biden, no Trump for 2024. Obviously, the American public did not agree with Odell, but at least we got Biden out of there, because Trump beat Biden like he stole something in the debate. I was down in Abbeville, South Carolina, looking at it on TV, and I'm like, my God. And the funniest line on everything, Matt, is when Biden said something and Trump said, I don't know what the hell he said. He don't know what the hell he said. It's so funny to me. And I'm a full-blood Democrat, and I just laughed, and I'm like, Joe, and it looked like when it was all said and done, from the dirt roads of South Carolina, Trump kicked Jonas behind and said, get your behind out of here. You know, that's how bad he beat. Trump beat President Biden so bad in that debate. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was literally embarrassing. So I'm sure people think Nancy Pelosi is the one who went to President Biden, but I think it was the congressman out of South Carolina, Jim, what's his name? His name is
Lindsey Graham, is it?
Huh?
Not Lindsey Graham?
No. Lindsey Graham's a senator, and Tim Scott's a senator. Clyburn.
Okay.
Jim Clyburn. Because remember now, Biden would have never won the Democratic nominee if it wasn't for Clyburn, who told the black folks in South Carolina to support him the first time around. You remember that?
Yeah.
Because he was dead in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard, everybody thought it was Obama at first, and then it was, no, Nancy's getting there and telling him what he needs to do. But you don't think it was Nancy either?
No. I think Nancy has something to do with it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, who wants to give that power up? But he needed to because it was embarrassing. As a Democrat, it was embarrassing.
Yep.
Sometimes you're sitting there, and I don't mean this the wrong way. It's almost like someone who has a very severe case of stuttering, and you're pulling for them to get the word out. When I was watching President Biden, I'm like, just can you say it? Just say it. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Put those thoughts together, and it didn't happen. And
No,
and you
again,
know,
he's been ridiculed so much, but I just felt bad for the guy. Like there's an obvious issue. They were right to try to move on, but rather than ridicule him even more, I was like, poor guy. I just felt bad for him because he can't. There's not much you can do. You're on the stage, you're in front of millions of people. Like that's hard enough by itself, but when you have a mental, something going on, that's a real task.
well, but I think also too, though, to your point, Matt, things have changed so much, and I think that President Trump is stuck because he had this thing won. Now,
Yeah.
anybody who ever played sports know that when you got the game won at halftime, now all of a sudden, you got it on, you're winning, and now the momentum has changed because now with Kamala coming on, then it's like, okay, Trump, what are you going to do? Because when he got out, and again, I don't by no way, shape, imagination support anyone trying to assassinate the president. When he got up off of that stage
Yeah.
and he got out and put his hands in the air, the Black Power sign, the Black Power sign, you're going to have to tell your guy Trump that that's the Black Power sign when he put his hands up like that. When he got
Okay.
up off the floor and put the Black Power sign and said, fight, 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 it was over. Game over. He had won the election.
That's
No
true.
way, no
That
shape,
was announced.
or
Yeah.
he had it won. He had it won. Because anytime you put up the Black Power sign, he had it won. But now he doesn't have it won. Now it's still a fight. And does he have it in him to fight? Now he has to fight against a black female. He has to be careful how he attacks her,
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how the first debate goes. So it's an interesting day, but a good day to be a Democrat. It's a good day to be a Democrat. Matt, you can come outside. The water is fine over here, Matt. The water is fine. Come on now.
Well, speaking of different sides and all, what do you think? You think RFK Jr. will change this thing?
Oh my God. RFK Jr. need to come and sit by me. RFK Jr. need to come and sit by me. He needs to sit his behind down, man. Come on now. What's he trying?
Yeah, he wanted to join Kamala, and she wouldn't give him the time of day.
Yeah, I know. Would you? Would you let him come join your law firm?
No, I think, I like what he says. I mean, not everything, but
Would you let him
the
hear your
lawyer, yeah, absolutely. He's been pretty effective as a lawyer. Yeah, he's good as an attorney. He's done amazing things there.
You know
Yeah.
what? We need to let him to look at what's that HB 1105 down there in Georgia, the whole thing. That's the one we need. We need him to handle all those cases.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, it was announced. We have not seen anything. We were worried about it because our law firm works a lot with the Hispanic community. So we were worried about, our clients getting stopped for a stupid traffic ticket and getting deported, which would be crazy in my opinion. But that hadn't happened yet. So hopefully it doesn't go as crazy as it could.
Got it. I hope so also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, let me get to one more thing. All right. So you were on a COVID roundtable where you were giving advice to the White House about COVID response. Is that accurate?
Yes. Uh-huh.
What were you telling them?
Well, it was just a situation where how do we get people who wanted to be vaccinated? Understand a lot of people didn't want to be vaccinated. We understand that. But those who wanted to, how did they have access to it? Now, we have a very, very large church here, a facility, and we're well known in the community for providing services. So I was called, said, hey, we need a place on this side of town, which I would call the black part of town, that people can come, not just black people, anyone. And so when they said, okay, we'll open our church up to it, then a lot of people didn't have access because if you have a rotary phone or just a regular phone and you're trying to get a appointment, it wouldn't happen. And for a lot of people, they don't trust the government. A lot of black folks don't trust the government, Tuskegee and all those things. So they were able to trust the church, the faith community. And we had about 73 or 74% Caucasians come in, and the rest was African Americans who would come in, and they got, I don't know, close to 10,000 or so vaccinations done, X amount of testing done. Then the governor came in and, acknowledged and all that kind of good stuff. And they put me on a committee just to try to help the White House come in and how we could get these things done. So that's all it was. It was just one of those things where you made yourself available because, as you know, we have to go in time of crisis from a house of worship and prayer to a house of service. So nobody don't want to hear about that praying stuff and worship stuff and singing a song. People want you to open these doors so they can have service. And the hard part about it, Matt, people were dying at the same time. And we had these things called COVID funerals where only X amount of people could come in. And it's so hard to say, okay, you can come in, but Uncle Jojo can't come in. And those things tore families apart. So we were honored to help, but we just tried to give the White House a little bit of common sense on what's really happening out here. So that's what that was all about.
Okay. That's interesting. All right, because I was not vaccinated. My wife was. I, by my nature, and typically suspicious when I seem to see this sort of an effort by the government and pharmaceutical companies to get drugs pushed. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's just kind of my natural tendency. And I wanted to just throw you one, and you can knock it out the ballpark. It might be ridiculous, but I want to hear with all your knowledge and experience on it. So when I see something like this, and I see an effort to suppress things like ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, other potential remedies in an effort to sort of funnel everybody towards pharmaceutical drugs and immunizations and all, it makes me question it all. Do you have an opinion on nah, maybe Matt, but this was legit, this was necessary, this was saving lives? Where's your view?
I think that everyone is similar to my view on abortion. I think that everyone has their own right to make their decision. When you wouldn't get in line, I was glad to take your space. I wanted to get my shot and everything else. Now, what I know was that we had a lot of COVID funerals. And a lot of it was around people who weren't as healthy as possible. But I think if people have a right to make their own decision, and if their decision was not to get the vaccination, then you should make them get the vaccination. And a lot of people went into the hospital and didn't believe that COVID even existed. So I'm all for the fact that as Americans, we can make our own decisions, right or wrong. And you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. But at the same time, I'm glad you got out of line so I could get your spot, because I said, hey, give me a shot. Give me mine and Matt's shot. I want the shot. I want the booster, and I'm going to get the next booster when it comes out in 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I certainly respect that. That's fine. All right. And I agree with what you say. We should have the right to choose. I'm not anti-vax or anything like that. But again,
how did you feel about the airplane? How did you feel about jumping on the planes with the mask? How did you handle that? Because you travel a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I mean, to me, the masks were kind of fun. I never had a problem with the mask. So if they wanted me to wear a mask, it didn't bother me. I just wore a mask. If it makes people feel comfortable, it's fine. That's not a big sacrifice.
Hey, Matt, as long as they don't come after our guns, right? Because, hey, I'm like you. I'm a hunter. As long as they don't come after I'm good with that. Leave me alone.
Hunting season's right around the corner, man. We got that's right.
hey, buck fever's coming, baby. Buck fever's coming.
Are you a hunter?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Deer, rabbit, squirrel, nothing like that. Adrenaline that you get when you see that big 8-10 pointer, big body buck come out there and stand, and you like, oh my God, here it is. And now all of a sudden you can't even find the gun in your hands. You know how that goes. It's nothing like that good old adrenaline.
No kidding. And most people, unless you feel it, you have no idea what it feels like.
It's powerful. It's powerful, man. It's powerful.
Yep. All right. Well, I tell you what, Odell, it has been a pleasure to speak with you.
Hey, man, you going to let me go before you talk about Clemson? What's going on with Clemson, man? I'm a Carolina man. What's going on with those Tigers down there? What's going on with Dabo?
Said I wanted to bring that topic up because I just read about it. It was a little depressing. I think we just got pummeled by Georgia, didn't we?
Hey, Dabo said he doesn't believe in the transfer portal. So we're going to see He'll be a believer when it's all said and done. Trust me, he'll be a
Yeah.
believer.
Okay. That's right. That's right. How the Gamecocks supposed to be this year? They gonna be any good?
No, you know we never good, man. All we want to do all year is just beat Clemson. If
Beat
we could
Clemson. That's
just
right.
beat Clemson, we
That's
died
right.
within heaven. You know we can't.
Yeah,
We're not any good.
yeah, I got you. I got you. All right. Well, yeah, we certainly didn't suck. Did y'all play last weekend?
Nah.
Oh,
We're all
yeah.
right. You know, we're not like you all. Hey, listen, I appreciate everything you're doing, man. And you know, one of the things that you talk about on entrepreneurism makes all the difference in the world. You know,
Well, I'm sorry, I lost you there for a minute. What was that last thing there?
I was saying one of the things that I like what you talk about is entrepreneurism. You know, when I
Yes, sir.
sent my son to college, I told him, I said, Calvin, this family knows how to work hard for money. But what I need you to do is go to college and learn how money works. And he got his undergrad degree in finance, then he got his MBA. So I just think that the American dream is there if you look at it as a hand up and not a handout, my friend.
No, that's great. It's so funny you bring this up because my son, he's 12. We talk a lot. He gets a lot of his information from TikTok and YouTube, which of course is a valid source of guidance for everything. And he's like, Daddy, I don't know that I want to go to college because right now college really isn't necessary. And I was like, really? Now, which video was this? Did you hear this on? So he's just 12, so we have time to steer him in the right direction. But yeah, that's where he's going. But you're right. Entrepreneurship, that's an important one. Is
Yeah.
there any words of wisdom that we can hear as far
Yeah.
as how somebody can achieve a goal?
And I'll take my glasses off for this one. I would tell anyone, don't tell yourself no. Let someone else tell you no. Let someone else say that can't be done. But don't tell yourself that. And what I mean by that, don't talk yourself out of an opportunity. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's hard to lose weight. Yes, it's hard to start a company, but it's worth it. Don't tell yourself no. Let somebody else tell you no. Then you prove them that they're wrong.
Nice. That sounds good. Yep. That's one thing I'm pushing. We just gave a lecture a couple weeks ago, and it was that just expect failure. Don't be surprised by it. Don't be dismayed by it. You know, expect it's going to happen, and you just
Yes.
push right through it. It's not a what if. It's just a win, and it's all right. It's a bump in the road. It's not like some horrible thing has now struck you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, it
Hey,
does.
do you ever go back to Hartsville?
Oh yeah, I love going back to Hartsville.
What do you love about the rural South?
I mean, I like there's a number of things. I love the outdoors and all. I've got so many good memories. I was lucky. I had a good childhood. My
Uh-huh.
school I went to, my parents were great. My friends were wonderful. So when I go back to that hometown, it's all good memories and just a good feeling. I like spending time there. I don't get there enough, man. Maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But
Well, Highway 15, Highway 52. Come
yeah,
on, man. You know how it is. Let's go down those highways. You know, I
that's
go down there all the time from Darlington to, Sherrod, going to Charleston. So good people. And what I think
it
people
is.
don't understand about the South, especially when it comes to black and white, the relationships that's built there is strange, but people don't understand how they're kind of like interdependent on each
Uh,
other to make it all work.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, looking back, you brought back some memories, sports and all at the high school and junior high and stuff. It was a good. I don't know. We had a good thing going. Black and whites working together. We were all buddies. It was fun.
Did you go to Walterboro High?
No, I was Hartsville High School.
Okay.
It's funny you bring up Walter Brother. That's where my parents are from.
Okay, yeah, we used to play them. I went to Middleton. We played them a long time, and it just makes a difference, man. Things makes a difference, and that's a different part of the country.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
What
Just,
word of wisdom do you give people, Matt? You're sitting there in Atlanta. You a big shot in the law firm. You own it. You make it make sense. You failed a couple of times at it at first, but
yep.
now you're doing well. You know, a lot of times when you think about it and people don't understand these thought-provoking ideas that you could be okay. Now, I know you got 1 or 2 black attorneys in your law firm, right, Matt?
Spanish, but minority.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. In the whole city of Atlanta, Matt
Now,
can find a qualified black attorney in Atlanta. Trust me. If you were intentional.
A young lady just resigned. She had a baby and she resigned. She was African American and she was a fantastic litigator too.
Okay, well, hey, if you ever need a good-looking black guy just for eye candy purposes, here I am, my friend. I used to have an afro. That's gone. But my mind is still good, Matt. My mind is still good. So we're going to do
you look good too, Odell. It's all good. The total package.
Listen, thanks for having me on the show, my friend.
Hey, listen, thank you. And thanks for all you do for the planet and for everybody. Really. It's amazing and it's inspiring.
Same here, my friend.
Yes,
have
sir.
a blessed day.
All right. You do the same. Thanks, Odell.
All right.
Hines on Air is for you. Remember to subscribe, like, and leave a review whenever you listen to podcasts. Your support helps us reach more people and continue sharing these incredible stories.